I talked about this a little bit on stream, but I really felt that I really needed to take the time to make a little extra video today to talk about this because this is a big deal. EA has posted massive losses. The reason being is that the chickens have come home to roost after they lost the FIFA license. Now, I talked about this 2 years ago when this happened. I noted how scared the executives were. I knew this was going to have like huge repercussions down the road because the FIFA audience are not going to continue supporting EA Soccer without the clubs and the license, like the actual players. Okay, if they don't have that, they don't have shit. And I think a lot of people like really don't understand what a big deal this is because EA has been coasting along on these sports licenses for decades. Like this is where their money comes from. So losing the biggest sport in the world is a huge blow to them. Not only in the short term, right? Not only just for the quarter, but because of the implications it's going to have in the future. Like, other organizations are going to start pulling away from them. They're going to start developing their own games internally, and they're probably going to do a better job of it than EA does. Like, we don't need the annual sports releases. All you need is like some downloadable app that you can put on your console or whatever that switches out players as they get like rotated through the teams. That's it. That's all anybody wants. That's all anybody buys these annual releases for. But like EA doesn't contribute anything to the world of sports. They don't. Like all they do is just leech off of people's like love and appreciation for these brands, for these teams, by being a middleman that doesn't need to exist, right? Like, as video games develop, as companies become more and more aware of how this industry works and how to take advantage from it, like more and more, they're going to sever ties with EA. Like the soccer teams absolutely made the right call in cutting out EA. And this is the biggest blow against the company I think we've seen ever. It's hard to believe that 10 years ago, like this was like the most evil corporation in America or whatever. These days, it feels like they're a paper tiger. Like the gaming crash is hitting all of these companies pretty hard. Everyone except Nintendo. It's hitting all of these companies pretty hard. And we're talking a lot about like woke culture and how that's like ruining companies like Ubisoft and Warhorse and like, Bethesda and all that stuff. And that is true. Like that is a part of it. But the other side of the coin is that like, companies that are on the opposite end of the spectrum, companies like EA that just regurgitate the same thing over and over and over again, they're also failing because they are not developing a product that people actually want to buy. And so they've become more and more reliant on microtransactions. They've become more and more reliant on established brands and franchises. And more people are starting to lose interest in what they're doing. When EA buys a franchise, that's a red flag. When EA does anything, that's a red flag. And because they're so reliant on these brands, if these brands decide to leave and go somewhere else, all of a sudden, the company's entire business model just implodes. It's incredible just how irrelevant EA has been this generation because their business model has just completely tanked. And it's entirely because of this one situation.